Welcome to CSBJ Radio. CSBJ Radio is the premier online business talk radio show in the Southeast. CSBJ proactively connects, informs, and engages its listeners in all aspects of small business. Discover the entrepreneur in you with CSBJ Radio. Now, here's your host, Greg Wilson.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of CSBJ Radio. I'm your host, Greg Wilson, owner and publisher of Connection Small Business Journal. As we often say, you can find us online at www.connectionsbj.com or call us 706-289-7863 if you're looking for any advertising opportunities with our platform. Give us a call today. We have very affordable rates. Our phone number again, 706-289-7863. Of course, you can connect with us utilizing our social media presence. Our Facebook page specifically is facebook.com/connectionssbj. Today's podcast is being sponsored by Rain Big Media. Rain Big Media. She is actually this company is actually the cover of our July issue of Connection Small Business Journal. And we're very proud of Nye Brooks and the company that she has, truly a young African-American woman that is making her mark in technology. We encourage you when the magazine comes out in a couple of weeks to pick up your copy or visit our website, connectionssbj.com, and download your copy of this magazine. We are very excited for her being the cover of the July edition of Connection Small Business Journal. We're going to talk a little bit more today during this podcast about her business and give you just an opportunity to connect with her as well. But the title of today's podcast is Employment versus Self-Employment. Employment versus self-employment. And we are living in a time now where, for whatever reason, the self-employment numbers are on the rise. According to a recent article that was published, over 10.6 million people right here in the United States are literally working for themselves. They're either freelancing or they're opening small businesses. And we even see that close to home here in Columbus, Georgia. Why? Because 99% of all business within the state of Georgia, again, keep this number in mind, that 99% of all business in the state of Georgia are small businesses. We are very grateful and thankful for, major companies like TSYS or major companies such as Aflac, Coca-Cola, even the United States Army being out on Fort Benning. But 99% of all of our businesses within the state of Georgia are small business owners. A lot of people are making the decision, hey, do I continue to work in something that I don't control? I don't control my health care. I don't control this or that, working for a company. Why can't I just step out on my own and start a company? And more people, I truly believe, and the numbers agree with me, that more and more people are actually stepping out. They're starting their own businesses. They're taking those hobbies, those things that they love to do, and turning it into a viable business opportunity. You may have someone that loves to cook, or they may start a catering company, or someone that loves to bake. They may start a baking company. Maybe you're good with, planning events, and you all of a sudden say, hey, I can do this on my own and start your very own event planning. If a few years ago, even for myself, I came from a background where I was managing a cell phone store. And I started a cell phone business. All right. So different people are stepping out and starting their own companies. But today we just want to take a look at, again, employment versus self-employment. Some of the similarities, the differences. I truly believe no matter what you decide to do, whether you decide to work a 40-hour a week, quote unquote 8 to 5, 9 to 5 banking hours type job for a company, there are still some things that even in self-employment that you're going to have. At the end of the day, there are some detrimental things that you're going to have. And today we want to take a look at 3 factors that will support your employment success. All right. And again, this is twofold for those that are working and for those that are self-employment. These 3 factors support employment success for yourself or for someone else. Okay. The very first thing that we want to talk about is want. An individual has to want to succeed. If you're working a corporate job, you have to want to excel, to be the very best that you can be on that particular job. All right. So you have to have a want to. There has to be an innate drive within you as an individual to want to succeed. Success doesn't just come to you because you're laying down. Success doesn't come to you if you have a certain level of apathy about yourself, or lethargicness about yourself. No, you have to be a go-getter. You have to go out and get it, make things happen, whether it be on a corporate job or for yourself. All right, so one of the first steps in succeeding at anything is the underlying motivation, that want to that we're discussing. If we're relating in terms of employment, generated income is typically high on the list, but that's not going to be sufficient enough. You're going to have an innate desire to drive yourself to want to succeed. All right. So money alone is not 100% the factor. Money alone at the end of the day is not necessarily the only motivating factor. Again, there's going to have to be something inside of you internally that wants to succeed. All right. Again, whether this is for a corporate job or for your own company, you're going to have to want to succeed. For you small business owners and entrepreneurs out there and startups out there, there are a plethora of obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. There's marketing budgets, there's a business plan to write, there's websites to get off the ground, networking opportunities to go to, and it's tiring. I've worked corporate jobs before, and I can tell you, under the auspices of self-employment, I work harder now than I did when I was working a normal Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 job. All right, there are days where, literally 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I am still going. Why? Because there's an innate desire that I have to succeed. And you, my friend, will have to have that want to. You're going to have that get up and go getter attitude. If I could use the well-coined phrase, get her done. There's some things out there that you want, but there's going to have to be something on the inside of you that actually wants to accomplish those things and actually be a success, not only for a regular job, but also for those of you that are self-employed as well. All right, the second thing that we wanted to discuss is fit. There must be a demonstrated willingness and ability to perform the desired employment activities over time. So if you're working a job, and that's why we go back to that income is not necessarily everything. If you're not happy, if that job does not fit you, over time, you're going to be miserable. All right. So if you have, visions of grandeur in your head for being self-employed, and you just jump out on a whim and start a company that doesn't fit you, then over time, that business will 9 times out of 10 will fail. Why? Because it's not a perfect fit. All right. Traditional employment typically requires, performing at certain times convenient to the employer. Well, self-employment, even though it can offer a lot of flexibility in terms of when and how long and where work is performed, but that still has to fit you as an individual. All right. So forecasting tools, my recommendation would be to utilize different forecasting tools, product sales projections, cash flow projections. These things will actually help you determine if self-employment is a fit for you. Hey, write down a list of things that you like to do. Maybe you're thinking about going into business for yourself. All right. And a lot of businesses start from something that people enjoy to do. And earlier we referenced, the baker. We referenced the one that loves to cook. All right. Why? Because they love to cook. They love to bake. All right. They maybe even love to clean and will start a janitorial service. All right. So different things start from something that fits you as an individual. If you're into sales, if sales fits you, then believe it or not, a small business that is centered around sales would be a perfect fit for you. Maybe you enjoy working on cars or tinkering with cars. Well, guess what would be a fit for you? Opening maybe a car shop. All right. So if you love a clean car, I've seen individuals open detail shops Why? Because they absolutely loved and spent time cleaning their own car first before they stepped out and started a company. All right. So no matter what the field, for me as a web developer, I love sitting at a computer and designing websites. Well, guess what? That love turned into a viable business for me, because I simply love to do websites. I enjoy graphic design. I enjoy building websites. All right. So that is a perfect fit for me. All right. What would not be a perfect fit for me, even with business know-how, and I could write a business plan, but what would not be a fit for me would be something dealing with a mechanical issue, or starting a company, where I'm working on cars. That's not a fit for me. All right, I do it because I have to, but it's not something that I enjoy. There are individuals that enjoy working on cars, and so a perfect fit for them would be to start a company doing something that they enjoy. Okay, so again, whether you are working for a company or self-employment, that word fit comes into play and must be utilized in order for you to maintain employment or self-employment and enjoy doing it. Again, money is not the motivating factor. It's not the only motivating factor. Depending on which study you look at, money doesn't even rank number one. What ranks number one is fit, happiness, being happy and peaceful and doing something that you absolutely love to do. And the third thing, or the third factor that will support your employment or self-employment success is focus. There must be a clearly documented objective and a process for supporting and tracking progress over time. How many of us have actually written down our goals? How many of us on a day-to-day basis actually write down a to-do list that we have to focus in on and accomplish that day? And again, it doesn't matter if you're working for a company X, or your own company. There's a certain amount of focus that we must have when working a job, whether it be for someone or someone else. Now, there are a lot of distractions. Social media, quite honestly, at the end of the day, could be a distraction to you if you're not focused. All right. So write down your goals. Maybe you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, or maybe you're trying to do something specifically in your own small business, but write down your goals. Take it from out of your head, put it on paper, and I promise you that it would be easy to accomplish those different things if we first write them down. All right, so a clearly documented objective would be you actually writing those thoughts down. All right, any goal is best achieved when written down. If there's one takeaway from the word focus, please know that is this, and that any goal is best achieved. Not saying you can't achieve it, but it's best achieved when written down. All right. If you're working a job, let's say you're working for corporate America X company. All right. A lot of companies, for example, Aflac or TSYS or Coca-Cola, Walmart, they have career development tools included within that particular company. But if you are a small business, those career development tools don't really exist unless you create them, unless you go out and you actually look for those things. Okay. There are self-employment assessment exercises that possibly you can take. There are exercises online to help you evaluate your business ideas, and then of course there are the normal, processes in place for you projecting, your income as a small business owner. All right. But again, if there's one takeaway from the word focus, there must be that a goal is best achieved when you actually write that goal down. Write it down, take it from your head, put it on paper, and create a to-do list. That's something that I actually do on a day-to-day basis. And we live in an electronic age. So for those of you who don't necessarily like, writing things down, I have an app on my phone, and it's called Any Do List. Any Do List. All right. Any.do. That's ANY.do. All right. So for those of you who don't necessarily physically like writing things down and you want to rely heavily on your electronic devices, I recommend the app Any.do. Again, that's any.do. It actually gives you a reminder. You put all your tasks in there, your to-do list. You put those tasks in there. You put your goals in there. You can actually assign a time to it. And guess what will happen when that time approaches? You'll get a 30-minute notification, a 15-minute notification, a past due notification. It's something that I actually use, and I like it. I'm a little weird. I actually use both. I write my goals down, and I also utilize this app as well. So these are the three things that, or what I would label as three factors that support employment or self-employment success. Number one, there has to be an innate desire to actually succeed. For a small business owner, again, there are doors that are closed in our face. There are people that say no to your idea, people that say no to your sales pitch. But at the end of the day, there must be just something burning on the inside of you that wants to succeed. And you will succeed as long as you don't give up. We posted a video not too long ago about what makes you any different. And the word that we utilized during that video was driven. You're going to have to stay driven and want to succeed to be self-employed. If if you're working for a company, well, guess what? You still have to want to succeed. Success is not just going to come to your cubicle, and cuddle up next to you. No, there's going to have to be some things that you do on a day-to-day basis, driving yourself to succeed, even in corporate America. The second ingredient, or the second factor for employment success or self-employment success, is fit. You want to be in a business that fits you, that fits your personality, fits things that you love to do. If you're working a job, you want to work a job that fits you as an individual. And keep in mind that, again, that money is not necessarily the motivating factor. Is money important? Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. But money is not necessarily everything. There must be a fit for you. If you're miserable going to work every day, then possibly that job is not meant for you. If you're miserable in self-employment, then you really need to consider even getting out of that business and maybe going working for someone else, i.e. a corporate job, if that does not fit you. And the third and final factor that supports employment or self-employment success is focus. We have to remain focused. We have to remain focused on our goals. We recommended earlier writing these things down. Again, the one takeaway that I want to leave you with under the word focus, under the success factor of focus, is that a goal or any goal is best achieved when written down. All right, and we even recommended an app, the any.do app. It's available on the iOS store and also any Android device. Any.do. It's an app that gives you the ability to put your task in there, your goals in there, set due dates, set deadlines with actual times. All right, those are the three things. Again, these are three essential factors that support employment success or self-employment success. Utilize them, employ them into your life. Want, fit, and focus. We mentioned earlier that today's podcast is being brought to you by Rain Big Media. I want to talk to you a little bit about Rain Big Media. Rain Big Media is a Columbus-based web development company. Their services include audio, video, graphic design, web design, training, and even consulting as well. They offer web hosting packages. You can contact them via their website, which is www.rainbig.com. They're located right here in Columbus, Georgia at 3100 Junction Boulevard, Suite 15B, as in Bravo. Call them at 706-536-9607 and ask for Nye Brooks. That's N-A-I Brooks. We appreciate you tuning in to this podcast. Again, I am Greg Wilson, the host of CSBJ Radio. Visit us online at www.connectionssbj.com. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/connectionssbj. And remember, those three factors that support employment or self-employment success are want, fit, and focus.